All right, so today we are going to dive deep into a pretty fascinating book.
Yeah.
It's called Rich Brother, Rich Sister,
Okay.
and it's written by Robert and Emmy Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki. I know that name.
You probably recognize Robert Kiyosaki as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a book
Yeah.
that's all about financial literacy and achieving financial freedom.
Right.
Now, what makes this book, Rich Brother, Rich Sister, so unique
Okay.
is that it's co-written with his sister, Emmy,
Mm-hmm.
who, get this, is a Zen Buddhist nun.
Wow. That's quite a contrast.
It is, right. You have one sibling who's all about building wealth and financial success,
Yeah.
and another who's devoted to spiritual wealth and detachment from material possessions.
Interesting. A real clash of worldviews, it seems.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're going to explore in this deep dive.
Mm.
How these two seemingly opposite paths
Mm-hmm.
can actually lead to a rich and fulfilling life.
Mm-hmm.
We'll dig into their individual journeys, the lessons they've learned,
Yeah.
and ultimately what it means to live a truly rich life.
I'm intrigued. So where do we begin?
Well, the book itself is structured in a really interesting way.
Okay.
It's not just a straightforward narrative. Instead, it's a conversation
Conversation.
between Robert and Amy, back and forth, sharing their experiences and perspectives.
Oh, so we get both sides of the story.
You got it. And it's through this dialogue that we start to see how their shared upbringing shaped them in such different ways.
Yeah, I see.
So let's rewind a bit. Both Robert and Amy grew up in Hawaii,
Okay.
in a traditional Japanese-American family. Their parents, both educators, really emphasized discipline, hard work, and integrity.
Those are solid values.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to see how these values manifested differently in Robert and Amy.
I can only imagine. It must have been a pretty formative environment.
For Robert, it seems this upbringing sparked an early questioning of traditional education.
Interesting.
He wasn't really drawn to the conventional path. Instead, he was naturally curious about money, about business.
So the entrepreneurial spirit was there early on.
It seems so. He just
Yeah.
wasn't that excited about traditional schooling, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Now, Emmy's early experience was a bit different.
Okay.
She seemed to initially conform more to those traditional expectations.
Right.
But as she grew older, she really struggled
Struggled with.
with her identity, with finding her purpose.
Ah.
She talks
Yeah.
about battling with things like eating disorders, which really pushed her to seek a deeper meaning in life.
So both siblings responding to the same environment, but in radically different ways.
Exactly. And this really sets the stage for their divergent paths. Robert, after serving in the Marines,
Okay.
dives headfirst into the world of business. He becomes an entrepreneur, builds businesses, and eventually becomes this renowned financial educator.
Yeah. And he really stresses the importance of financial literacy.
He does. And for Robert, financial wealth isn't just about how much money you make, it's about what you keep.
Right. It's about managing your money.
Exactly. It's about investing it wisely so that it can work for you.
So you're not just working for money, it's working for you.
You got it. It's about achieving financial independence.
Which leads to?
Freedom.
Yeah.
True freedom to live life on your own terms.
Ah, okay. That's a powerful concept.
And for Robert, entrepreneurship is a key part of this equation. It's not just about profits.
Right.
It's about creating value, about providing solutions.
And escaping that 9-to-5 grind.
Yes, breaking free from the rat race of traditional employment.
It's interesting how his path really embodies his financial philosophy.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Emmy's journey takes a very different turn.
Okay, let's hear about Emmy.
After years of personal struggles, she finds solace in spirituality and ultimately becomes a Buddhist nun.
Wow, a Buddhist nun. That's a significant commitment.
It is, and her path is all about looking inward, about self-discovery through meditation and spiritual practice.
So while Robert is focused on the external world of finance, Emmy is going deep within.
Precisely. And her teachings are all about finding inner peace.
Inner peace. How does she define that?
For her, it comes from letting go of material attachments, from not being controlled by your desires.
So it's a detachment from the things that often drive us in the material world.
Exactly. She emphasizes training the mind to overcome suffering.
That's a big one. I think we all struggle with suffering in different ways.
We do.
Yeah.
And for Emmy, it's about recognizing that a lot of suffering comes from our own minds, from our thoughts and attachments.
So it's about changing your perspective.
In a way, yes. It's about learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them.
Interesting. It's like taking control of your inner world.
You got it. And another key aspect of Emmy's journey is service.
Service. Like helping others.
Exactly. She finds that dedicating herself to helping others, to making a positive impact on the world, is incredibly fulfilling. And even helps her own healing process.
So both Robert and Emmy, despite their different paths, both emphasize service.
They do. And it's a beautiful point of intersection in their lives.
Right, because Robert is serving through financial education.
Yes, empowering people to take control of their finances.
And Emmy is serving through her spiritual teachings.
Helping others find peace and overcome suffering.
So it really challenges the idea that wealth and spirituality are mutually exclusive.
Absolutely. They both find deep meaning and purpose in serving others.
And both seem to share some core values despite their contrasting approaches.
Yes, definitely. They both strongly believe in personal responsibility.
You're accountable for your own life and choices.
Exactly. And they both emphasize the importance of lifelong learning.
Always growing, always expanding your knowledge.
Whether it's about finance or about spirituality.
Right. And they both seem to have a strong sense of purpose.
Absolutely. Robert's is about financial empowerment. Emmy's is about spiritual well-being.
And both require discipline, wouldn't you say?
For sure. You need discipline to succeed in business and to maintain a dedicated spiritual practice.
What I find really touching is the mutual respect and support they have for each other.
Yeah, despite their vastly different beliefs.
It's a beautiful testament to family and the power of understanding.
It really is. And it reminds us that we can have differing viewpoints and still deeply respect and care for each other.
It's a lesson we could all learn from, especially in today's world.
Couldn't agree more. So, to kind of recap and bring some clarity to these contrasting ideas.
Yeah, let's do a summary.
We see Robert focusing on financial wealth.
While Emmy focuses on spiritual wealth.
Robert defines wealth as financial independence, having consistent cash flow, and being a savvy investor.
Emmy defines it as inner peace, compassion, and mindfulness.
Robert's method is entrepreneurship, building businesses.
Emmy's is meditation and spiritual study.
Robert views money as a tool for freedom and impact.
Emmy views it as neutral. It all depends on your attachment to it.
Robert's goal is to empower others financially.
Emmy's is to empower others financially.
Emmy's is to relieve suffering spiritually.
Robert's challenge is overcoming financial illiteracy.
Emmy's is overcoming personal suffering and ego.
And the book has some truly insightful quotes that really capture their essence.
Well, Robert says, if you want to be rich, you need to be of service to many.
That's a good one. How about Emmy?
Emmy has several beautiful ones. She says, the greatest wealth is found within.
That's powerful.
And she also says, peace comes from within, not from possessions.
Such a fundamental truth.
They both seem to agree that it's not about choosing one path over another, but walking your own path with awareness.
I love that. So what's the takeaway from Rich Brother, Rich Sister?
I think it's that there's no one-size-fits-all definition of a rich life.
Right. It's about what resonates with you.
Exactly. It challenges us to define what a rich life means to us personally.
Whether that's financial abundance or spiritual fulfillment.
Or even a blend of both.
And it reminds us that regardless of our path, values like love, service, and respect are paramount.
Absolutely. It's a book for anyone who's seeking a more meaningful life.
Entrepreneurs, spiritual seekers.
Even families who might have differing views on money and spirituality.
It offers something for everyone.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Rich Brother, Rich Sister, it's clear that Robert and Emmy Kiyosaki, despite their contrasting journeys, offer us valuable insights into what it truly means to live a rich life.
It really makes you think about how financial well-being and inner peace can coexist, maybe even complement each other.
And it leaves us with this thought-provoking question. What if true richness lies not in choosing one path over another, but in consciously integrating seemingly opposing values into a cohesive and meaningful whole?
That's a great point to ponder. Thanks for this deep dive. Food for thought for sure.
You got it. And thanks for joining us.
Like and subscribe.